Hey everybody, welcome to the Weseloh and Stevo Show. You can check us out on Instagram and YouTube at the Weseloh and Stevo Show. You can also email us at theweslohstevoshow@gmail.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy the podcast. But they did it against the cheaters.
Yes,
that's awesome.
There's two things about that. One, they deserve it. Two, that's baseball, baby.
You'll be like, oh, he's reaching for some sticky stuff there.
Crisco,
Right.
Bardol,
Yeah.
Vagisil. Do you think Bregman? Do you think those guys would ever be suspended for 80 games?
I think they deserve to be.
But would they?
The Weseloh and Stevo Show is filmed in front of a live studio audience. Today's guest will receive mixed fruit. It's mostly honeydew.
Got a lot of good stuff to talk about today.
Yes, we do.
I do want to start off hot, though. I want to start off with a big topic.
Okay.
Back to our Astros. Back to the Astros.
It just doesn't get any better, does it?
I mean, I'm running out of popcorn, baby. It's quite entertaining. I got to be honest with you. Very entertaining stuff. Very disheartening and not good stuff you want to hear for the game. But
To cheat the game at this level is almost unthinkable.
All for a championship. All for a championship.
I mean, you get playoff bonuses and whatnot, but man, that it's just not. It's a terrible look for the game.
Do you think Jim Crane knew about it? He is the owner of the Astros, by the way.
I honestly don't. He's probably not in the.
You think he was out of the loop the whole time?
I think so.
Really? Why?
I don't. I just think he was out. He's an owner. The only owner that's that involved is Jerry Jones.
Easy now. We're talking about baseball.
I'm just saying. Most owners, hey, I'm making money off the team. I don't really care. I think the GM obviously was in on it. I don't think the owner was on it, though.
Yeah.
Owner's not doing day-to-day player personnel in the dugout. He doesn't care. I don't think.
You don't think so?
He maybe, for all we know, he could have known. I don't think he does.
I just find it hard. I find it hard to believe that he didn't know something. You know what I mean? Like, there's just, with the general manager involved, he's right below him. I mean, he's right there. He's the next guy in line.
But there's also other people like president of baseball operations.
Right.
There's directors. There's other people before you get to the owner.
But you don't hear about them because their roles are, I feel like, not as important. They run the business side of things. The GM is more of a player personnel kind of person.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just find it really hard to believe that an owner would not know that kind of shit was going on.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Do you think the league forced him to make the firings, or you think he knew he had to?
He had to. He didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
What do you do? I mean, these guys, first of all, this is my opinion, I think these guys should be banned for life. I mean, I'm talking about the players for sure, but Hinch, the GM, Alex Cora, Carlos Beltran, gone. Like, Pete Rose, for instance, I know this is a hot topic that everyone's talking about. Pete Rose bet on himself, on his own team, okay, which clearly betting was not allowed. Can't do that, right? But it's not even close. He wasn't cheating. He was not cheating. No, he was.
When you're throwing, what if he was throwing games?
He wasn't throwing games because he was betting on himself.
It's hard to believe that, though. You know what I mean? How do you know how you're going to take his character and at his word?
Okay,
What if he was throwing games and he was managing games? Also, remember,
true.
So what if he was managing to lose?
But was that ever proven?
I don't know.
I mean,
don't you think that's possible too?
Sure.
Hey, just make sure you keep it under 12 runs today, and we'll take the under. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. Okay, that's a good point. I don't know. I don't have the facts, nor I haven't really heard of anything like that. So
I think as a manager, more than a player. As a player, you can't really affect the game as much. As a manager, you can put certain pitchers in that you can take guys out.
Wait a second. I got to step in here. I agree with that. I agree with that managers can do stuff. But how can a player not be able to alter a game?
They can.
Comes up, bases loaded.
Okay, he strikes out.
Strikes out on purpose.
Sure.
Hits into a ground ball double play on purpose. Boots a ball in the infield and outfield.
Yes, that is true. But not every ball is going to get hit to him. Not every time he's going to come up with the bases loaded and strike out. But 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, yeah, it sucks. But that's not necessarily... Yes, that you could throw the game.
All right.
But If you're the manager and you have the ability to take guys out, put your shitty pitchers in, and give up more runs if you have to, you never know.
Okay, I see points on both sides.
Yeah.
But back to what we're talking about.
Yes.
Pete Rose is banned for life. Obviously, we all know that. I have trouble comparing the two. I think the Astros did worse. And if the Red Sox, I know they're being investigated right now. If it becomes proven true that that's worse to me than something that Pete Rose did. Obviously, I'm nobody. I'm just this sports fan, so my opinion doesn't really matter. But I don't think the MLB will go as far as banning any players for multiple reasons. But
the players are protected by the Players Association. That's one issue. And the baseball union is the strongest union in all of sports. For some reason, it is.
Yeah.
But that's why the coaches and GMs have no protection. So that's the easy firing.
Sure. No, I get that. Not only do I think that's a reason, it's just a good reason, I think these are superstars. Okay. A lot of them are superstars. It's like the faces of the game.
Right.
And they don't, no league, NBA, NFL, MLB, they protect their superstars.
They should at least get fined. They're the ones doing it, right?
But so I think that's a problem though, Brett. If you fine them, okay.
I think you find them their playoff share.
Say Altuve. Say they proved that Altuve was wearing a wire or some shit, right?
I have some brief remarks that I'd like to share with y'all. I am really sorry.
If you fine him, that's guilt, right? You're basically admitting not Altuve's not admitting any guilt, but the league is admitting that he did something wrong, right?
I don't think they would have fired the GM and the coach if they didn't do anything wrong.
Right. So, but all I'm saying is by fining them, it kind of puts them in a weird spot because that basically tells the rest of the world that they were at fault too, but we're not going to do anything other than take money away from them. I think that would create more of an uproar to me. If I was Major League Baseball and I knew these people did something and I didn't want them to be banned, I would leave it alone. I wouldn't even go near it. I wouldn't suspend any of them. I wouldn't fine any of them simply because the optics on it, as soon as you do that, you've now told the public that we have found some dirt on them. We've done, they are guilty of something. We wouldn't have fined them if they were not guilty. And the public now goes, okay, well, if they're guilty, ban them. Why are you going to fine them $100,000 when you clearly for wearing a wire when you should be banning him for life for wearing a wire? Not ban. They didn't fine Pete Rose.
Do you think people that are proven to take steroids should be banned also?
Yeah.
But they're not. They're suspended 80 games now.
Okay. But do you think Altuve? Do you think Bregman? Do you think those guys would ever be suspended for 80 games?
I think they deserve to be.
But would they? Of course they deserve to be. That's not even a question. That's not a question.
Well, they've proven it, right? Did you hear their interviews recently when the reporters ask them about it? They go, well, the commissioner made his report. Every answer is the same.
Did you see?
Tell me that doesn't.
Did you see Bregman's interview during that 2017 series where they're like, reporters like, how'd you know that pitch was coming? How'd you prepare for it? How'd you know it was coming? Blah blah. And he literally looks around the room, doesn't say a word.
Yeah.
Looks around the room, looks at the reporter, and just goes, I don't know. He says, I don't know. Almost like a kidnap
Admitting
victim
guilt.
trying to tell someone at the drive-through line that they're kidnapped by their eyes. Like he was telling the reporter, I don't know. He was basically telling everyone that he had some inside information.
Right. Okay, then. So if you're going to fire the GM and the coach, obviously there's some guilt going on, right? So why can't you suspend the players too?
I'm with you, though. All I'm saying is I'm with you on the suspensions. I think they all deserve suspension. I would go as far as if they were proven guilty, they deserve to be banned. I don't care if it's Altuve. I don't care if it's Bregman. I don't give a shit.
Right.
I don't care how superstar-y they are. It doesn't matter to me.
Did you see Altuve's numbers, home and road split?
No, I did not.
It's over 400 at home and in the 100s on the road. Tell me that doesn't
That's
mean
funny,
anything.
too, because in DFS, like you always take Altuve home. You just knew to take it. You always short porch and left.
Yeah, well, now you take all the Astros at home.
Oh, yeah. Well, now you don't take. Now they don't know what they don't know how to hit, so I wouldn't take any of them. But
What's really impressive, we'll get back to this, but the Nationals won 4 games in Houston this year. That's impressive in the World Series. No one's ever won 4 road games in a World Series before, but they did it against the cheaters.
yeah,
That's awesome.
There's 2 things about that. 1, they deserve it. 2, that's baseball, baby.
Yeah.
Baseball, you could have all the information in the world, and there's still a possibility that you fail.
Along those lines, I heard one MLB pitcher say, I'd rather face a guy on steroids than face a guy that knew every pitch that was coming.
100%, no question. Baseball's all about deception, man.
Right?
So
That's how bad it is. If you have to manipulate the game that much,
yeah.
how easy is it to hit when you know it's coming? Like, I know hitting's hard, but man, if you can eliminate someone's pitches and know exactly where you just have to find location where it's going to and guess.
I think we touched on this one of the last couple episodes, but in Major League Baseball, especially at the highest level, it's not even fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair. Like I said, it's kind of like having the playbook in the NFL, like literally having the coach's playbook on the other side, and seeing the lineups and seeing what to do. It's frustrating, but it's also, this is great. This is good shit. Like, I'm having a great time following this story. It's very frustrating and disappointing that teams would go this far.
Remember, we're taking money off the table for a lot of dudes. Legacies are tarnished. You know, Kershaw, Yu Darvish, Dave Roberts, the coach.
Yep.
I mean,
I'm okay with it happening to the Dodgers, though.
I know, because you're a Padre fan. Yeah.
Okay, brings me to another question. I think I already know the answer to this, but if they were to come out and say, okay, they vacate the title, do you think it should go to the next team, or do you think it should stay as an open year, like an asterisk year, like where no one wins?
As much as I want the Dodgers to have it, it should stay as an open year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. You can't just. It's not like the Olympics. You can't just give it, or the Tour de France.
Right. The next.
You can't just give it to the next closest person. I don't think. Because what about all the other teams?
Right. What about the Yankees?
Teams? Yeah. What about all the other teams that lost on the way?
What about the Yankees in the ALCS?
Should they forfeit all their wins during the season too? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? How do you?
I think if you're not going to suspend anybody, I think all the playoff money that was awarded during that playoff run, you take it away.
How much money do you make in the playoffs?
I think each round you get like $100,000 the first round, then you get like $200,000, and then you get like $250,000.
And that's equally distributed
per person.
Does it matter what you make?
Well, actually, no. I'm sorry. There's a playoff share, and everybody, like the captains of the team, will decide how much of a role did you play in it. How much?
Really?
Yeah, I know. I've heard this happening.
So does a guy banging on the trash can get like double?
He should get paid the most.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I just want to make sure he's getting taken care of, man. He put his life on the line.
Right, exactly.
All right. Okay.
So if you get a full playoff share, that's good money, man. You were in the World Series, you get some good money. But anyway, yes. So right now the suspension for steroids is 80 games. Do you think these guys? I mean, do you think this whole team should be banned for a year or suspended for a year? I know that's nearly impossible, but something like that, where you take money away for a year. Whoever was on that team or involved.
It's not that simple. I mean, you know that already.
It would suck for the fans.
It's just not that simple. It's so much to prove. Like who did what? Who participated? Who knew about it? Like is the third outfielder on the depth chart sitting on the edge of the bench?
Yeah,
was he know about it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you find him?
I don't know.
And he makes the league minimum. Do you really find him the same amount? Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like
the buzzer thing is one thing, and I don't know if the whole team is wearing buzzers, but the trash can thing, that's in the dugout. Everybody can see that.
I mean, that video that I saw with what's his name, John Boy or whatever. Yeah, where he broke down Danny Farquhar, who was the pitcher for.
I think the White Sox.
White Sox, yeah, it was White Sox.
He stepped off and
knew. He knew.
Yeah.
And what did he do? He struck out Gaddis on a changeup, which they were banging the trash can for every single time it came out. But when he changed his signs or changed his whatever, they couldn't bang on trash cans because they didn't see the sign anymore, and they struck him out.
Yeah.
So, hats off to him for figuring that out. But, I mean, if the pitcher can tell that shit's going on in the middle of a game, I'm kind of curious to know why this wasn't brought up sooner.
Yeah.
All right, well, what do you think the solution is for all these guys?
I don't know, man. Because, I mean, all this just came out. The season's, going to start. What do you do, What do the fans do? What do the TV companies do? Like, you got to have people come to the stadium.
Yeah. Do you think people would stop, though? Do you really think Astro fans are going to stop coming?
No, because they're going to defend their players.
They probably knew about it, too.
Doesn't matter. They were probably buzzing in.
Yeah, they probably helped them out. You kidding me?
Yeah. Astro fans are going to defend their guys. But
Patriot fans always defend the Patriots.
Oh, for sure.
So, I mean, it's the same shit, man.
Right.
They're going to stick by their team.
Yeah.
Shit, the Padres cheated. I'd stick by them, too.
That's awful.
Maybe we need to.
You know what's crazy? This is another good topic. Is baseball is weirdly okay with some cheating, but not total cheating.
Like
you know what I mean?
Like what?
For instance, hitters can use pine tar in their bat. Pitchers, well, most guys do use it, but no one calls it out. You're not supposed to, but it's okay. Or some guys use the sunscreen and rosin mixture on their forearm. If you ever see guys go into their forearm or their glove arm, you'll be like, oh, he's reaching for some sticky stuff there.
Crisco.
Right.
Bardol.
Yeah.
Vagisil.
I don't get that one. What's
That's
it from?
Major League. That's
Oh,
Major
okay.
League.
Sorry.
That's where Harris puts all that shit on his bike.
That's man. I don't remember that line.
You don't remember that one?
Uh-uh.
And of course, if none of that's working, I rub a little jalapeno in my nose, get it running, and rub up the ball. You put snot on the ball. Ain't got an arm like yours. I'd put anything on it I can find. Someday you will too. Sorry.
Anyways. Or they'll have something on their hat or whatever, right? The pitchers or whoever.
Right.
And that's like the unwritten. Well, there's probably a guy on our team doing it, so we're not going to say anything. Well, you can't do steroids, but you can take a few supplements that are okay or you can use certain types of bats that are okay. Or you can kind of throw at somebody, not intentionally, but you can kind of throw at them.
Sure.
You know what I mean? There's
sure.
weird. Baseball's kind of weird about cheating. Like you can do a little bit, but if it gets overblown now, no one can do it.
Well, I would definitely have to say using video technology to steal signs is crossing the line.
It's way beyond.
Crossing the line.
That's like you're taking the pureness out of the game now. Now it's not even.
What's the point of the
What's
game?
the point?
Yeah, what's the point of knowing what's coming and cheating like that? Like, I mean,
You're ruining dude's
if
numbers.
we were to do that, if we were to allow every team to do that, it would be an absolute shit show. Like pitching would be, might as well soft toss it. Might as well just soft toss, play over the line.
Yeah, man, no signs.
No.
You just got to look at the catcher and go, I hope you know what I'm throwing right now.
Just gonna throw it right over the play here. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully.
I don't know what the solution is.
I
to
don't
be
either,
honest.
man. To be honest with you, but I mean, if
How do you stop them?
if I had it my way, obviously the MLB concluded their investigation or whatever the hell.
Right, so
happened.
they're done. They want to
they're
be
done.
moved on.
Yeah, they don't want people to start digging any more information up or whatever. So it's
No.
kind of hard for me to sit here and say Altuve should be banned or suspended, and Bregman and Reddick and all those guys. But that's how I feel. Honestly, if they were involved, they should all be hit with something. A 1-year suspension to me, though, doesn't make any sense. It doesn't align with someone like Pete Rose, like we were talking about earlier, to me, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't think the two things align. I don't condone what Pete Rose was doing by any means, right?
Yeah.
But what he was doing to me is not even close. Of course, you make a good point by if there was proven that he was throwing games or shaving runs or whatever, that's different.
Yeah.
Of course, I've never heard anything about that. I know it's
Hard
chatter.
to tell.
It's
It was a
chatter.
long time ago,
and there's a
too.
lot of chatter, and a lot of people have their own conspiracy theories and this and that. And do we take Pete Rose at his word? Who knows? I don't really take too many professional gamblers at their word.
Yes,
but,
exactly.
but at the same time, if he can stay banned, that's fine if you want to keep him banned. But if you're going to ban him, you've got to ban
For
them.
sure.
And at the very least, Hinch, Cora, Beltran. I don't know the GM's name.
I think Jeffrey Lunau. or
Lunau,
something.
yes.
Yeah.
They all got to be banned for life. A 1-year suspension for AJ Hinch was an absolute slap in the face to everyone in baseball. That was
It's not stiff enough penalty.
no, it's a slap on the wrist. You see, he gets to take a 1-year vacay, and basically he'll be
and
back.
gets to keep his World Series title.
Sure,
and all his money.
His legacy, for lack of a better term, or his whatever, is tarnished. Right? He may never get hired again, depending on what happens or whatever.
I think he probably will,
I think he will too.
which is crazy.
I think he will too. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they hired him right back. What if they hired him in a different position and they're just like, whatever. Like 5 years down the road, they hired him back.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. And I go back to the steroids thing too, because when I played, obviously I didn't do it, but knowing that there were other guys that did do it, that's affecting everyone, So how long is 80? I don't think 80 games is enough. I think if you get caught, you got to at least miss a year, if not multiple years.
Yeah. Well,
But this is,
another thing to add on to that is when you say a year, people think, a year is not that, 1 year. But now that I think of it, baseball season 162 games long, that's 6 months, not including playoffs ish. So, I mean, that's actually a long suspension.
and no pay.
Yeah.
either.
And no pay, of course. Yeah. That's actually a very, very long suspension.
But the problem is, if you got some of these guys who sign big contracts, okay, you miss 80 games. All right, you missed some of that, but you still got 3, 4, 5, 6, however long your contract is, years left.
Yeah.
With big money on the table. The getting punished in baseball is minimal.
Stay on the same topic here, but kind of a little change of subject. What do you think about this Mike Trout HGH thing?
Man, I hope it's not true.
I mean, they said it's not true, but
Man,
I don't know who to
who
believe
would come
anymore.
out with that and just say it.
Scott Brocious' son.
So Scott Brocious was the third baseman for the world champion New York Yankees in the 90s.
Scotty.
And he's a good player. His son, if you hadn't heard this, came out with a story, quickly got deleted, about Mike Trout possibly taking HGH, and he only was able to do it because there's a loophole because he had a thyroid issue and he needed HGH to live with his thyroid issue. Now, how do you feel about it?
I love Mike Trout. Here's the thing. Everyone who knows me knows I don't like the Angels. Okay, not an Angel fan. Just never been an Angel fan. I just don't really have too much respect for the fans. They kind of show up when they win, kind of fans. So
Which isn't often. Yeah.
Which isn't often. Yeah. So it's just typical. Southern California, Orange County fans. But Mike Trout is one of the best athletes we've ever seen in our.
He might be the best player ever when it's all said
in our lifetime. Yeah. So we're watching something special right now. And it's also great to watch him because he signs a big contract and just continues to rake. And normally when people sign contracts like that, it never stays. It always goes downhill, and they always take time off and get injured or blah blah blah.
Right.
He's still going strong. So when I heard this, I didn't know how I felt. I was torn. I was kind of just like, I don't want it to be true, but it would explain so much.
I mean, with the minute he got in the league, he was on fire. He was an MVP candidate right away.
And he's
still
so strong, and he's just, you know what I mean? He's like a freak. So it's like, it would totally make sense. But it's weird that I've never thought about this. I've never even thought about this guy could be on steroids, or this guy could take an
The
HGH.
problem, unfortunately for baseball, you almost have to question everyone. There's been so many cases of dudes
That's what I'm saying.
outperforming the league that end up, this is why.
It's
'Cause
like
they took something.
the trust has been broken. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
you lied to me once.
What if he's been taking it for years? Remember, he was a high school draft pick. What if he's been taking it for years when they discovered this issue?
Well, here's the I don't know what I would think about that, but we'll never know. Because if it was true, the league's protecting him. Because the league came out and said that that exemption has never been used once by anybody.
Right. So you
since
can't
its existence.
use that excuse.
But
how has no one ever seen this before until now?
and why would he just make it up? Like, why?
A former major leaguer's kid?
Yeah, like why? And why hasn't Scott Brocious come out and said anything again? Like, don't listen to my son, he's crazy. Like, he hasn't said anything.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they told him, hey, don't even move this forward. Like, we need to kill this issue.
I feel like we're in an apology era where every time something like that happens, someone has to come out and save face, and basically
it went away quick.
Well, that's because it's Mike Trout. Okay, if it was, I'm trying to think of a baseball villain right now. If it was
like a
John Carlos Stanton,
right, or
okay.
a Manny Machado.
yeah, Manny Machado. I think this would be much different. I think it's because this is no way the MLB. If this was true, if this was actually true, the MLB this would be terrible news for them.
They're already dealing with enough scandals.
Terrible news for them. This is their face. This is their boy. Like, this is, everyone knows.
Or like a Bryce Harper.
Well, I mean, Bryce Harper too, but everyone knows who Mike Trout is. People who don't watch baseball know who Mike Trout is. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like LeBron. There's a lot of people that don't watch basketball that know. Everyone knows who LeBron is. People that never watched a basketball game in their life know who LeBron is. So it's just like if LeBron got caught shaving points. You know what I mean? You'd be like, no. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, it'd just be a total, complete tarnish of everything. And I would have a hard time accepting everything he's done.
Do you think if it was true, the Astros stuff and Trout, you think it would lose people? Or do you think?
Yeah, it would. Because this isn't.
I don't think baseball can go any lower than it is now.
I mean, that's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
It used to be America's pastime, but now it's like, well, we got through the steroid era.
Yeah. It's a slow game.
They're trying to get more home runs.
We're in 2020 where attention spans can be measured in nanoseconds.
Right.
So it's got to be quick. And I get it. I get it. We're purists and we're baseball people, so we understand.
Right. In any game for that matter, honestly. Any game that's getting cheated is it's wrong.
Yeah,
it makes you like, why should I pay to go see this?
Exactly. It doesn't matter. I don't care if it's chess, man. I don't care.
If you're manipulating the game, that's messed up.
It's
it means
bullshit.
you have now submitted that you're not good enough yourself. That you need to do something extra to compete.
Exactly. And I think that's a crying shame because the Astros are stacked.
Totally.
Why?
They could have won without it.
You could win without it. Like, why is the best team in baseball cheating? It's like the Patriots. When the Patriots are doing shit like that, you're like, you guys are so good, you don't need to cheat. Or have you been doing this shit? Have you been doing this shit this whole time? Is this why you're so good? But I just don't see that with the Astros. I feel like, they probably started doing this just 2 years ago. So, but hopefully they don't just sweep it under the rug, which is I'm sure what's going to happen. They just sweep it right under the rug.
I know.
Next mid All-Star break next season, we're not even going to remember this shit. It's going to be like Spygate and all that stuff where it pops up like once in a while, maybe on a meeting or something like that. Like it'll pop up. But I'll tell you what, if the Astros ever win the World Series again, no one's ever going to accept it. Everyone's going to be like, oh, would they do cheat? Just like the Patriots. Anytime the Patriots win now forever, most of the country doesn't accept it.
The funny thing is about the Patriots, things just keep coming out about them every few years, right?
Yeah.
After Spygate, Deflategate. They were videoing the Bengals sideline this year.
Yep. They sure were.
Why? It's the Bengals. They're trying to lose.
It's just how Billy does things over there. That's just how Billy does things over there, man.
Don't tell me it's for a documentary. To me, that means there's a systemic cheating issue there. It's not going away.
Dude, Robert Kraft gets hand jobs at massage parlors.
Whoa.
No, I thought he was married. He's not married, though. I think his wife's dead, but...
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
He starts at the top, I think. And that's why, back to the original question, where I didn't understand how Jim Crane didn't know any of this stuff was going down.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I bet you Robert Kraft knew all that shit was going down in New England.
Possibly.
I'd no way I'm betting a house on it.
Even Kraft knew about Deflategate.
I'm betting the house that I don't have on it right now. That Robert Kraft knows about everything.
I don't think he knew about Deflategate. That's like an on-the-field deal with like equipment managers and stuff. You know what I mean? I don't think he knew about that.
I just can't believe it.
To me, it's these old, rich, white dudes. They're not paying attention to on-the-field stuff.
What is Robert Kraft doing? Other than football, what is hand jobs? What is Robert Kraft doing? What could he possibly be doing?
I don't know.
He's literally, all his life is football.
I know, but he's not on the field. He's not talking to Belichick about football. I don't think.
You don't think so?
I guess I'm giving these owners too much credit. I'm not. They're removed, in my opinion. I don't think they're like when an issue comes up, they go, shit, I got to fix this. And then they dive in. Okay. Another example. Boy, we got some good legs on this topic. Got a lot of mileage out of this. The Mavericks had a very strong sexual harassment problem in the front office.
What team doesn't?
Did Mark Cuban know about this?
Mark Cuban's probably the ringleader, man.
They had a dude working right underneath him. That was a big problem. Never did anything about it.
I guarantee he knew.
Maybe he knew and just didn't do anything until he had to.
I guarantee he knew.
Well, he's also in the Jerry Jones mold, very involved, right? Yeah. I think some of these dudes are completely removed. Maybe I'm naive, but
I think you're right.
Some of these dudes, it's like,
I think you're right.
I'm paying.
I think you're right, especially ownership that's not a single solo ownership when it's like investors or multiple ownerships for sure. No, I'm with you on that. But Robert Kraft eats, sleeps, drinks, breathes Patriots. Yeah. Okay. He's the face of the Patriots next to Belichick and Brady. And I think, him and Jerry Jones and owners like that, like they and Cuban, they're very heavily involved. This is their life. Okay. You could say Mark Cuban, like you said, might not know. He's a very busy man outside of basketball for sure.
He's got investments in companies.
Very, very busy man. So I can see that. But look at him. He's courtside at every game. Yeah. He's on the court during timeouts and things like that. Yeah. He doesn't know what things are going on in his own business, which he probably spends most of his life at, then there's something wrong with that. So it's a double-edged sword here. He either knew and didn't do anything about it, or he didn't know and he should have. So you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like it doesn't look good. The optics aren't good either way.
Right.
So back to Kraft. If he didn't know Deflategate and Spygate and all these stupid things were going on, it doesn't get control of your team. Like just like Belichick needs to get control of his players. If it's Deflategate and Belichick didn't know, for instance, get control of your players.
Like in college, they call it lack of institutional control.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
If you're an owner of a business, okay, yes, you hire managers and you hire people to work below you to keep an eye on things and
you
to make
gotta
sure everything
trust
works
them.
smoothly. And you got to trust them, right? You're a business owner,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so, but it's your baby, you know.
Yeah. You gotta
It's-
communicate
You
with
have
people.
to. You're constantly involved, right? At least your position.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
constantly involved at all times, and you're always wondering what people are doing, what people are up to, and how they're doing it performance wise, and all that stuff. That's got to be the same situation when you own a multi-billion. Well, I wouldn't say multi-billion, but
Yeah,
multi-million/billion-dollar franchise. You know, I would feel like you'd put more emphasis on knowing what's going on. Yeah, emphasis on what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And if you're not,
That's a problem.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's all I'm saying. I just think I just don't think Kraft didn't know. I feel like he knew.
That's fair.
He
He
has
seems
to
pretty
know.
involved. I don't know anything about the Astros owner, so I've never seen him before. I had never heard of him before.
I don't know too much about him
Maybe
either.
who
But
knows?
I agree with you though. Owners can definitely be in and out depending on who they are and
Yeah.
what team it is and what region of the country and
Right.
what their record is. And I'm sure.
I feel like if you're winning, you're more inclined to leave the coach alone.
You think?
If you're losing, you're probably like on their ass, or they're on the short list, or you got the GM like, hey, make sure you pay attention to this. You know what I mean?
Sure. No, you're right.
If you're winning a lot, you're probably like, I don't need to do anything.
Sure.
This thing is running itself.
Unless you're Jerry.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Unless
he's
you're Jerry.
8-8, whatever he
He's
was.
always 8-8.
Always 8-8. Anyways,
That's a whole nother topic. Another show. Another
Yeah.
show.
let's
I do want to roll into something else though.
let's get to Zion.
Zion.
Mount Zion. Let's
Mount
get to it.
Zion. So Zion debuted last night.
Yes, he did.
Debuted last night. What'd you think?
The first 3 quarters, I thought he was
Poop.
big.
Poop.
It looked like he was favoring that leg. He was limping a lot. He walks funny. He just walks side like a freaking. I can't
He's a
explain
waddler.
it.
He's a waddler, dude.
He's
a waddler.
He's very wobbly. It's like, dude, walk straight. Why are you side shuffling when you walk? I feel bad for the kid. I want him to be a star. I've heard him talk before. At 19, he's very humble. Great interview. Good kid. It seems like.
Yeah.
But I was nervous every time he jumped in the first 3 quarters, and then all of a sudden, a non-shooter becomes 4 straight threes in a row, and the crowd's going nuts. And they wanted to take him out of the game, and Alvin Gentry couldn't get him out of the game.
Yeah.
It was exciting in that last quarter, but up until then, he looked sloppy, rusty, and very
But that's to be expected. I mean, he hasn't played in a long time, coming
Right.
off surgery. So I mean,
not much 5-on-5 going on.
yeah. So I mean, that's to be expected that he was a little rusty. But that explosion, I don't think that's going to happen very often.
He's a quick jumper, though.
He
He
is.
can get that burst step and like, whoa.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. I don't think too many teams are going to be leaving him open to shoot threes anymore.
Probably not, but he needs like that. I don't
see that happening again.
see him proving he's not a shooter.
Yeah, it's not going to happen again anytime. Well, maybe he's doing a lot more shooting because he came with his knee.
He should be.
Either way, good on him. For making
Right.
the three. It's a 3-point league, right? Big men shoot 3-point
Right.
shots most of the time.
He has
so.
to develop that for sure. But can he be that aggressive like a Westbrook all game long at that size? I don't see it.
No, his knee's going to explode.
Right.
It's going to
He
explode.
needs to temper his workload a little bit as far as when do you assert yourself into the game? When do you go nuts?
Yeah.
I don't think in college you can do it.
Yeah.
Not now.
Yeah, and if I was him too, I would also recognize that, hey, I'm young. I just came off this surgery. I'm fragile. I need to get in shape. And I'm surrounded by superstars. People, I mean, the Pelicans aren't like crushing the
They're a
league.
good young team.
But look at the players on that team, okay?
Yeah, they're a good young
Drew
team.
Holiday and Brandon Ingram and even Lonzo Ball. And Derek Favors is playing really well too.
Josh Hart's decent. Yeah.
These are good players.
Yeah.
So there's no reason he needs to come out and be the best player on the team right now.
No. And I don't think yes, they want to make the playoffs. I don't see it. I don't see them making the playoffs this year.
Not this year. You still got to mold everyone together.
Yeah. He needs a full year and off season where he's healthy, a full training camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got time. He's young, remember? So, but I think that team is a lot more.
They're closer
he's
than
in a
we
better
think.
situation than someone who's he's like the only guy on the team.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they've got a lot of all-stars, potential all-stars and all-stars on that team. So, That's dangerous. Like they can be real dangerous.
They
I
could.
think they could get
Yeah.
real good as long as he stays healthy.
What do you think about his weight?
It's got to go down. It has to go down.
They say he's 285.
That's
I don't know.
That's too big.
Do you think that's undershooting it? Do you think he's $3 bills?
That's pretty heavy. Shaq was $3 bills.
285 is huge.
That's big. Shaq was like 315.
Yeah, something like that.
And he's a big dude.
But he moved well at that size.
Yeah, but he's different.
It's a different body.
Yeah, he's different.
Yeah.
And remember, Shaq's not a high flyer.
No, he's not. No. He's strong, but no, he's definitely not.
So, and I don't think I've ever seen Shaq hit a 3-point shot.
I don't think so either.
But
when you come down with that much force and weight on your body, it's inevitable. You're going to get hurt.
And he's a new breed. He's a new
Right,
breed. Like
right.
if he is indeed 285 pounds, okay, we haven't been seeing high flying 285 pounders.
Never.
I have never
No,
seen it.
I don't think anybody liked that.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll see tall guys, like super tall
Right,
guys, and
right.
that being high flyers, but
I mean,
285?
There used to be power dunkers, but they weren't that big. You know, like Sean Kemp or guys like
Right.
that.
They weren't 285.
No. They were like 240.
And he's like beyond a power dunker. Like when he gets an open dunk, even if it's just like
Dude, he
a up and down,
explodes.
he just wants to tear the rim off.
yeah.
So he's getting up as far as he can get up. But I think you're right. I think the more work he puts on that knee at his weight and the way they train and all that shit, it's already halfway exploded. It already
Right,
kind of
right.
did shit already. So I mean, like it's only a matter of time. So I hope he stays healthy because, like you said, seems like a nice kid, very
Yeah,
humble,
yeah.
not selfish.
Yeah.
I mean, you take John Morant for instance. I think John Morant's a good basketball player as well. Different attitude. I like his attitude too. I like both of them. You got Zion, who's very humble, and you got Ja, who's I wouldn't go as far as saying cocky. He's
Yeah.
more confident.
Yeah.
Confident is better than cocky.
Right.
It's different.
And Ja's been playing well.
Ja has been playing
right?
well.
For a rookie.
He'll probably get rookie of the year this
Yeah,
year.
he's
So,
good.
I like John Morant, but there's just it's interesting to see the two different approaches. There's
Yes.
just two different approaches. One is, and that might be because Zion might be because he got hurt. It might be
Yeah.
more humble because of that. He also knows how much pressure is on him to perform. I mean,
The good thing is that he's in New Orleans, though. Not a high pressure market. There's no expectation
let's put it
there.
this. No, well, there is. Let's put it this way.
For the number one pick, yes, there
There's
is.
a worldwide expectation. And I could tell before the game yesterday. I mean, there's a guy that they were saying, okay, he's coming back. He's going to play 15 minutes.
Yeah.
15 minutes. That's
Right.
not a lot, okay?
No.
In short bursts.
Like 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes.
The amount of tweets, the amount of articles, the amount of headlines, the amount of Zion makes his debut, Zion. It was incredible. It was like so much pressure on this guy. And I really hope he doesn't read any of that stuff. I really hope he doesn't. Because
it's hard to avoid it nowadays with social media and whatnot. You know what I mean? And his teammates and the reporters bring it to him and all that stuff. There hasn't been this much hype probably since LeBron came in the league.
And he's not LeBron. I'm sorry. He's
No,
not.
he didn't have the skill set.
He's not
But
LeBron.
as a highlight reel, that dude is
Yeah, and I would love to see him in a couple of years when he's developed and actually like
Right.
an adult.
right.
Yeah.
And has refined his game a little bit.
We might be seeing some backboard shatter here pretty soon. It's been a while.
Right.
Since Big Diesel.
Right,
Probably
yeah.
the last one to do it.
Yeah.
Um
But he's 6'6", maybe. He's undersized for what his position is too. So he's
Yeah.
going to have to learn how to shoot.
he has to shoot.
Right? You can't
way
be a
too
6'6"
short.
center. I mean, even though Draymond does it, but
Yeah, but
Draymond can
where's
do other
Draymond
things.
now?
Well,
Where's
he's-
Draymond now? What did I saw something about Charles Barkley said something
a
he ain't
triple
talking.
single.
He ain't Charles
But
says he ain't
Draymond
talking
came
right
back
now.
at him. He's like, "Oh, is that your order at Wendy's or something?" Draymond's funny, but so is Charles, though. Yeah, good thing Draymond got paid before the Splash
Well, they'll be
brothers
back.
got hurt.
They'll be back.
I know, but
They'll
I'm
be back.
saying like it's a do-over year, which is actually, if we're going to talk about the Warriors a little bit, great thing for them. They're going to get a high draft pick. They get to rest their stars, regroup, and then they're back in the title contention.
Yep, and they'll probably get some. You got Alec Burks is just a great trade chip right now, playing really well. So I think they're going to get some pieces back for him,
Maybe
whether it be draft
D'Angelo.
picks or same with D'Angelo. You don't really need D'Angelo once everyone comes back. I don't see where he fits.
No, I don't either.
Because Clay's there to take all the shots and Steph's there to do
Handle
all the
the ball.
dishing. Yeah. I mean, obviously Steph will shoot too, but I just don't see you wouldn't. Where would you move Clay to 3, or would you move
D'Angelo would be the 2.
Yeah, he would have to be
Clay's
the 2.
the
There's
3.
no way he'd be the 3.
Yeah.
I don't think he could play the 3.
Yeah.
I mean, on paper that looks great. Curry, Russell, Thompson, and
for
Green
sure.
on paper looks fantastic.
It does, right.
It looks great, but it just doesn't. I don't think that's a real mesh.
They're going to need another piece.
It doesn't mesh really well. It doesn't,
Right. D'Angelo needs the ball in his hands. He's not just a spot up guy.
But that makes you wonder where he fits anywhere.
D'Angelo?
Yeah.
He's got to be the man. It's got to be a team that doesn't have a good
But
point
he's
guard.
not. He's good. He's really good.
He made the All-Star team last year.
No,
It was
he's
in the
really
Eastern
good.
Conference,
and
but
and sometimes he got ice in his veins.
he can play. Yeah.
He can play. He can ball. So it's not like I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but
Not on that team.
I mean to put it, he seems like he'd only survive if he was the only one there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you had other superstars there, he would just kind of fade away and he
Right.
wouldn't be happy with it.
Well, look at him in Brooklyn last year. He was the guy. He
Yeah.
had a couple pieces, but it was mainly him.
Yeah. I just don't think how he would work with other people. It's kind of like, but you can't compare him like LeBron. So like LeBron has Cleveland, right?
So you're saying like a Kyrie.
Yeah, where like he can't.
Great talent,
there's a
but
ceiling.
what do we do with you?
There's a ceiling, and who do we piece with you? Like whose game do we bring 4 role players who don't like touching the ball ever?
Yeah,
Like I mean, is that going to win us a championship?
No.
Probably not.
No.
So I think he needs to figure out either how to pass the ball or just be happy with taking 10 shots, 12 shots a
Right.
game,
Yeah.
which is a way really low for him.
Yeah.
But back to Zion.
Yes.
I'm excited though. I'm excited that he's playing and he's back.
I want him to succeed.
I do too.
I like to see a talent like that. I don't care that he's in New Orleans, whatever, but I want to just watch him play.
Yeah.
Like how often are you really excited to watch someone play? You know what I mean?
No, I was excited.
Not that
I was very
often.
excited. I was very excited for the debut, just like all the people that were tweeting
Yeah.
and writing articles and all that
Yeah.
stuff. I was just as excited. Although I already knew ahead of time how much he'd be playing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was kind of tempering my expectations,
Sure.
and that's why that fourth quarter outburst
It was crazy.
17 straight points he scored in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Was it the fourth quarter?
Yeah,
Third quarter,
yeah.
Quarter? Yeah, 17 straight points. He played 16 minutes, I think, and he scored 22 with like 5 boards.
Yeah. 4 straight threes.
That's ridiculous, by the
I know,
way.
for like I said earlier, a non-shooter, like he really isn't known for that. So if he can be that guy, it's kind of like what Giannis is going through. If he
Yeah.
can be that guy and do everything else, damn, look out.
Yeah. Although,
So-
like we've been talking about, there's no way to compare Zion to Giannis.
No, different player.
Not even close.
Yeah, different player. Not Giannis. Zion will be his own thing. He'll be his own dude. I mean, look, it's the one name guys.
I know.
Michael,
but I just think of
Kobe,
the way
LeBron,
the way we're talking about it, though.
Giannis.
I just think about it like by position or whatever, and like what they bring to the table. And it's like, there's no way Zion will ever be Anthony Davis, for instance, right?
No, he doesn't have the size or the shooting ability
Well, forget
or the
si-
free throw ability.
Okay, but we bring it back to
Which
this
part,
kind of
yeah.
hype. This kind of hype
Oh.
that comes out, right? But he doesn't even compare to Anthony Davis. He doesn't compare to LeBron. He doesn't compare to Giannis. He doesn't compare to James Harden. He doesn't compare Kawhi,
Yeah.
Paul George. He doesn't compare to any of these people. He won't. I don't.
No, he's not those guys.
He'll never be better than any of those guys.
But
in
I'll
my
tell you
opinion.
What, right, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But that dude was selling out college arenas last year and getting primetime games and celebrities and
Oh yeah.
former presidents to come watch him play.
Right, but
This dude's a hype machine.
we also live in a different time.
Yes,
so,
but he, as much as things don't live up to the hype, this dude does
yeah.
usually.
If this was 25 years ago, you wouldn't even hear about this guy until he started playing basketball in the NBA. You wouldn't even know he existed. So
Maybe in college you would have known. Remember the tournament? You would have known. I remember dudes from back in the day in college. They were good.
You would know him for a few months.
Yeah, right,
For a few
right,
months.
right, right.
You wouldn't get it stuffed
Oh,
in
you
your
wouldn't see
face.
his high school videos.
Yeah, and you wouldn't get it stuffed in your
Dude, his
face
high school
all
videos
year
were
long
insane.
on ESPN's Instagram and whatnot. You wouldn't get that
Yes.
shit shoved down your face. Same with LeBron and same with all those guys when they were
Yes.
coming through. You wouldn't.
Right.
It's the times we live in.
Yes.
Social media, instant information.
Sure.
And-
All true. But have you ever seen someone like that? Like him before? I haven't.
No, not the way he plays the game. But he's already shredded his knee already, so
Right.
maybe there's a reason why there's nobody like that.
I will say, John Morant's legit. That guy is also athletic as hell.
I wanted him to hit that dunk on Kevin,
Oh,
where he just
yeah.
teabagged his ass.
dude, he's the new age Westbrook 2.0, man. He can fly. And he does everything.
Yeah,
I like Ja.
He bricks just like Westbrook.
Yeah.
He does. He does.
Yeah. All right, so that brings us to Eli Manning. He recently announced his retirement.
He did.
And I got two questions, two different topics for you here.
Okay.
One is Eli a Hall of Famer?
Okay.
Two, did he have a better career than Big Ben Roethlisberger?
All right, well, let's start with number one.
Okay.
You want me to answer that first?
Yes, you can answer, and then I'll answer.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, it's hard. It's tough because, Eli was not a flashy quarterback, kind of a quiet guy, never really led the league in many things. But he's got the Super Bowl titles. He's got the Super Bowl MVPs. He's got the longevity. He's played how many games straight has he played?
210 straight starts.
210 straight starts. Okay, that's big. Hall of Fame loves that.
That's third most consecutive starts.
And so I mean, I want to say yes, but a lot of me wants to say no. Obviously, stats play a huge role for me too. But we're in a different era now. We're in a quarterback happy, pass happy, NFL. So some of that stuff's kind of padded, in my mind at least. Super Bowls are huge though. When you win titles, especially when you're winning MVP, a lot of Belichick, playing against Belichick, that kind of stuff. And he's a Manning. His last name is huge as well. I guess my final answer to that, I would say no. I would honestly say no.
Wow.
Yeah, I would say no.
Okay, I'll tell you why.
Yeah, let me hear you.
I'll tell you why I think
maybe you can convince me.
I'll tell you why he will get in.
Okay,
Not
all right.
necessarily that I think he deserves it.
Convince me.
But he will get in. You mentioned a lot of it. 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl MVP. It also matters who he beat, in my opinion. You beat Brady and Belichick twice. One of those seasons was undefeated. That team was stacked. That matters. So you're beating them twice in their prime of dynasty matters.
Okay.
Also, he's 7th in yards, in passing yards all time, top 10.
Yeah.
He's 8th in passing touchdowns all time, top 10. Yeah. But he was 117 and 117 as a starter record.
Right.
Which epitomizes Eli Manning. That's who he is. Just the run-of-the-mill average quarterback, except for a couple playoff runs.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
He is a Manning. That will help. But the 210 straight starts, I think, helps his case.
You think that seals the deal?
The longevity, being able to play that long, is important. Now,
yeah.
It's not a slam dunk, though, as we know. He had, 6 out of the last 7 seasons they didn't make the playoffs when he was the quarterback?
When he was surrounded by no one?
He completely dropped off, right?
Yeah.
He's not going to make a team better.
Right.
He's not one of your new age quarterbacks like a Mahomes who's going to just will the team to win.
He's not a playmaker.
He's not, exactly.
Not a playmaker.
He's not a memorable guy.
No.
Right? And so it's almost like it should be, when you think Hall of Fame, yes or no, it should be immediate yes or no. Like, yes, he was good enough.
Sure.
No, he was not.
Right.
He was never the best player in the league, ever. Right? He
Right.
led the league in interceptions 3 times. Not good.
Not good.
I guess I'm giving you more why he shouldn't get in. But
Yeah, you're not really helping your
I
own
know.
case here, but this is great. No, this is great.
I think, the other one was everybody that has more than 50,000 passing yards and more than 300 touchdown passes is
And
in.
how many of those guys are ahead of him? Or
I
are
don't
that fall into that?
Well, I don't know how many there are total, but I think Brady, Breeze, the other Manning, Peyton, and who else? Favre probably has that. So most of the guys that are for sure Hall of Famers have those numbers.
Sure.
So it's hard to just with the longevity alone. And he played in New York. Remember, that was the other thing I forgot.
Yeah.
That will help,
Yeah. No, I don't think he deserves to be in,
but he'll probably get in.
Shit, that's pretty strong word. He will get in though. He will for sure. There's no question about that. But I don't want to say the word deserves because that's not really fair because he has there's some deservance in there somewhere for him for sure. But I don't know. When I think Hall of Fame, I just don't think Eli Manning.
I don't either.
His play is too quiet. Like he's just not a playmaker. He doesn't put himself on the line. And that might have something to do with his longevity. I'm sure, that's That's a weak attack by me, but it's true. I don't know. I just have trouble with it. I mean, it's kind of the same with Phillip Rivers, you know. I mean, obviously we'll talk about that at a different time, but you know, Phillip is statistically
best quarterback to never win a Super Bowl.
Right. He's got no Super Bowl. So
Other than Dan Marino.
That's
but
an
yes.
that's an easy target. We could easily just be like, no, he can't win a Super Bowl, he can't win in the playoffs, you know, no.
Right.
He's never won an MVP or anything like that in the Super Bowl, and he's definitely he's a longevity guy too. He's played a lot, but anyway, I have a tough time with that. Now, comparing him to Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes, we can move into that.
And I don't want to kiss Ben Roethlisberger's ass here by any means, but I just think I would rather have Ben Roethlisberger.
I agree.
As my quarterback.
They were drafted in the same class along with Rivers, who we mentioned earlier. Big Ben simply is just a better quarterback.
I think so too.
The eye test, the numbers. Big Ben, you can argue he's had more weapons, a better coach. Tom Coughlin was pretty good, but Tom Lynn is good.
Yeah.
He's had more weapons. He hasn't played as many games as Eli, but he's definitely been the better quarterback.
Yeah, he had Le'Veon Bell, he had Antonio Brown, he had Hines Ward,
Jerome Bettis,
Juju for a little bit.
They both had Plaxico.
Burris, yeah. I mean, they definitely had some players on that team.
Yeah.
And Eli's had Brandon Jacobs, Odell Beckham,
Tiki Barber.
Yeah. I wouldn't count Mario Manningham. Remember Mario Manningham?
Yeah. He made some big catches for them.
Where'd he go? Michigan? That Michigan guy, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
That's a long time.
But he had some weapons. I mean, he had Saquon for the last year or two or whatever. But
they've had somewhat comparable weapons. Big Ben's had better.
Ben's
talent
had
around
more.
him. Antonio Brown for 8 years. Eli didn't have.
Now,
that.
what about their divisions? The teams they play against.
Right. So some people will hold that against Big Ben, where you get to beat up on Cleveland and Cincinnati all year long. Other than Baltimore, who's been pretty good for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
They're tough out.
When Ben's been in the league, as long as Ben's been playing, Baltimore's been good.
Tough.
Yeah, they've been good. So
right. And then you got the NFC East. You got Eli going up against the Cowboys, Redskins, and the Eagles, who have had their moments a little bit, but nobody. Well, I guess the Eagles have had their.
Not so much the Redskins.
No. Other than when RG3 was there, they were decent.
Yeah.
But other than that, no. And don't even get me started on Brady's division, the AFC East. Those teams don't even try to compete.
And they haven't tried.
And they haven't. 20 years.
Been alive. Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Anyway, yes, I'd say Big Ben definitely had the better career. Even right now, he's still playing, but he's just a better player.
I think he's tougher. I just think he's tougher. And I mean that in the sense that he lets his body, get hit and takes hits. And, and I can't really recall Eli getting hit hard. When he gets sacked, he kind of just like falls to the ground or like gives up on the play or whatever. At least Ben, because he's a big guy.
Yeah.
Ben will you gotta work. You gotta get me down. And
Right.
it usually takes two guys to bring Ben down.
Right.
So, and granted, Ben's a lot bigger than Eli, but
and they both had big moments. But Ben's had some really special moments, like the Santonio Holmes throw in the back of the end zone. That was awesome in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's another guy he had, Santonio Holmes.
Santonio Holmes, you're right. Yeah. Oh, that was big.
Eli had his moments, but some would argue out of his 16 years, he had 2 months of awesomeness.
I don't count the Tyree catch for Manning. I more lean to Tyree than I do to Manning.
Sure.
Manning kind of just threw the ball up. And
right. But he had to make, we talked about the other throws, Manningham that he had to hit.
Yeah, no,
and
of course.
Plaxico in the corner.
Of course, but if that's a fourth down play.
Right.
If Tyree doesn't somehow miraculously catch that against his helmet, he doesn't even get a chance to throw some of those. So, I give more credit to him there. A lot of people are like, "Oh, the David Tyree throw." Like, no, that was David Tyree. We should be talking about him because that was his catch.
Right. And the other argument, I've seen a lot of articles written about should he be in, should he not. He's never been the best player in the league. He didn't change the game. He didn't overwhelm anybody. Talking about Eli.
Yeah.
He never won MVP of the season.
He's boring. He's so boring.
He's not enough.
Boring guy to watch.
He's had so many down years,
Yeah.
It's like he's not consistent.
Well, you nailed it on the head. He has a 500 record. That is
who he is.
When you think of Eli, if you were to say how he's an average quarterback, then how can he be in the Hall of Fame?
Right. Honestly,
you're supposed to be making a case for him here.
I know, and now I'm like making it not. There's too much there for me to be like, you know what? And I think, and this is what another writer says, the Hall of Fame is reserved for the immortals, right? The no doubters. You are at least the best at your position for a good amount of time.
Sure.
Eli's not that
Not even
at
close.
all.
Not even close. Not
So
even
I
close.
would now actually, outside of the 2 Super Bowls, I'd lean toward no.
This is great. This is great. He just proved
I
himself
proved
wrong.
myself wrong. That's what happens.
I hope everyone was listening to that.
I'm
I didn't
taking in the data.
I didn't have to do shit for that.
Take that for data. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I have to say, if other than those 2 Super Bowls, he's not a Hall of Famer.
No, he's not.
That's the problem.
No. He's
And those
just
great defenses that Giants had helped him out.
helped him. And when they weren't good and he was trailing all game long and he had to huck it, chuck it.
Right.
He couldn't throw it farther than 10, 15 yards.
Right.
So, if you want to put him in the Hall of Fame for the duck passes, the duck fart passes,
Right.
and the underneath, like he belongs there for sure.
Right.
But other than a couple, and remember, one of his longest throws that he's ever made had one of the craziest catches on the other end of it.
Yes.
So that wasn't him. That once again,
Right.
David Tyree, OBJ, different people. They're making it happen for him.
So you would say, even though he played a long time and a lot of consecutive starts, that contributes to his overall stats being elevated versus Big Ben played less games, more of an impact.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. And it just and like I said before, most of those years that Eli was playing without the superstars of the good defense, they've been trailing.
Yeah.
When you're trailing in football, especially in today's football, your passing numbers are going to go up. I mean, you look at Jameis Winston,
Kirk Cousins.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
You look at these guys where their teams aren't going to win, but they're down, right? When they got to chase and they're
Yes.
throwing 50, 60 passes a game.
Kyler Murray.
By God, you better get to 50,000 yards. If you're throwing 60 passes a game for multiple seasons, like,
Right.
and if you're not getting any stats, then you probably shouldn't be playing no more. But
Yeah, now that I see all this, now that I'm digesting it, he's not a Hall of Fame player.
But do they break this stuff down when they do this voting stuff?
I
Did
don't
they
know.
break this information down? Like, did they really go back to the tape? Did they look at it?
I think they should. I think we go back to, he played in New York, he's a Manning,
Yeah.
and he's got 2 rings against Belichick. To me,
But that gets you into the Hall of Fame? The Hall of Canton?
if he had 1 Super Bowl, it'd be easier to say no. But because he's
that's
got
all it would
2,
take?
I know.
That's
Isn't
all it
that
would
sad?
take?
That's what I said. I heard someone say it's like he had a good 1 month there in that season, another month there.
See, what I'm saying is that David Tyree catch, I don't count that Super Bowl. I don't count that one. To Eli's credit. I credit as a Giants win.
Okay, how about the other one?
But I'll give him one. I'll give him one. But I'm telling you, like the Tyree one, I give the credit to Tyree, not to Eli.
Right, but that's just one play of the whole game.
I understand, but check it out. He won the Super Bowl MVP for that game, right?
Yeah.
David Tyree drops that ball, doesn't catch it.
They probably lose.
They lose. He doesn't get a Super Bowl win, doesn't get a Super Bowl MVP. Okay.
Right.
So he
Yes,
if
I'm
he
with
gets
you.
into Canton, David Tyree better be the first person he calls.
Or introduces him.
Yes, or thanks, or anything. He better be the first person. He better be number one. Like, thank you, you got me here. Because if he didn't have that, this would be a no-brainer. No, you're not getting in.
Right.
Because Nick Foles ain't getting in.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, he ain't getting in.
No.
He's got a ring.
Right.
So
Trent Dilfer's got a ring.
Trent Dilfer's got he ain't getting in. You know what I mean? So
I wish we could play the what if game because I try to do this all the time.
and if the Niners win, Jimmy G ain't getting in.
No, throwing 8 passes in one quarter or
ain't-
one game.
He ain't getting in. So
There's a lot of plays with Brady, and this is a whole nother rabbit hole, but the Edelman catches, if Russell Wilson doesn't throw a pick on the goal line, there's so many other wishy-washy. It
Yeah,
could
but-
go either way for
but
those
comparing
Super Bowls.
Tom Brady to
No,
anything we're talking about right now,
I'm
is
just
apples
saying
to oranges.
the what if stuff.
Yeah,
but
right.
okay, so if you're putting Emery right,
All right, so just want to make everyone clear listening to this here. Brett, do you think Eli Manning deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
sadly, no.
Oh, just like that. Just like that.
I was going to try to prove that he was, but he's not.
Try again.
Well, that'll do it. Thanks again for listening. You can hit us up on email at the Below Stevo Show, no and on Instagram and YouTube at the Below and Stevo Show. We'd love to hear your comments and questions. We can definitely answer those in the next episode. And if you say something stupid, we'll crush you on the other side. Today's show brought to you by no one.
Oh, yeah.